Folks, welcome back to the Keep Going podcast with Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Something that's kind of been circulating my mind is how the pandemic as a whole was a blessing for me. And I think it was a blessing for a lot of people. You kind of had time to yourself to reinvent yourself in whatever way you wanted to kind of, like I said, your time was freed up. So now you could utilize it in whatever areas of your life that you wanted, any new endeavors you wanted to take on. Obviously, things were closed down, so there were only certain things you were actually able to do. But as far as freed up time, we've never had a situation where we've had so much time on our hands to kind of explore. I've mentioned before, I kind of dove right into working out and how that's kind of transformed me in other areas of my life. You know, with that transformation kind of comes to like a new version of yourself. And something Eric Thomas talks about is you have to outlast the old you long enough to become the new you. And I think with COVID, that's something that I began to do. You know, after when COVID slowed down and things started to open back up, I kind of last summer reverted back in a lot of ways, not in all ways, but in certain ways where it came to, you know, kind of still enjoyed the party lifestyle or going out, which isn't a bad thing, but to the excess that I do it sometimes or did it in the past, it wasn't something I wanted. It didn't align with what I wanted to create out of my life and where I wanted to go. And that kind of comes to, you know, you have to outlast the old you. Like, you're going to start making changes. People are going to start saying things like, oh, that's not you. People love to pigeonhole you, put you in this box, and, you know, just kind of have this stuck fixation and idea of you when you could be anything you want. You could create anything you want, and you could change at a moment's notice. Of course, for deep impacting, longing change, you need to consistently create that and be that. But as for, you know, trying a new food, you know, oh, I don't like pasta. You try pasta, you like pasta, and now pasta is something you eat. I don't know why I use pasta. Personally, I don't really like pasta. But anyway, so yeah, you kind of, and that's what it is. It's just creating the new you is outlasting the old versions of you, the old ideas that people have of you, and the old versions that you have of yourself. Because, of course, people could pigeonhole us and put us in these boxes, but we could do it to ourselves. So one thing directly with me, I've brought up multiple times now, is I was heavier. But even growing up as a kid, I was never fast. I was never a runner. I hated running. And now I'm a runner. You know, I'm running a marathon in Colorado in October, throwing myself at multiple running endurance events. And now it's something that is a part of me and who I am. And it's just that change. It's outlasting the old version of yourself in your head, in other people's ideas and perceptions of you, and just continuously creating new. Something that I do often, and I've spoke about it as well, is putting myself in uncomfortable situations. And with doing that, you create change, and that's what also creates new. And one thing I'm really focusing on lately is just getting to a place where I can't even revert back to the old me, because now that's uncomfortable. It sounds like, oh, well, wouldn't you want to do that to prove yourself wrong? Of course not. You just have to become that new person that you truly want to be and that you're meant to be. A lot of people live these forms of shells of ourselves just because it's kind of easier. It's kind of easier to go through the motions, kind of easier to go out every weekend, or, you know, just do what everyone else does. It's the norm. A lot of people don't like going against the grain. You don't like the pushback from yourself, from other people, from family, and it makes sense. It comes to, you know, career switches or even eating healthy food. You know, you're at work and, you know, at my old job, people used to drop pizza off all the time, and I would never eat it. And people are like, oh, of course you're not going to eat it. So that just became, now it was just like, I can't, you know, they drop off Krispy Kreme donuts, and I wanted them. I wanted them sometimes. I really did. And obviously, you know, I was allowed to have them. Nothing was keeping me, but I just created that and just stuck to it. Doing the uncomfortable things, it's going against the grain. It's going against the norms. And that's where growth is. That's where your true self is, and that's where you can kind of build a life and a person that you're proud of. And that's what I'm currently working on. I'll never stop working on it. A lot of these things have also been kind of circulating in my head because my sister had her baby, little Grayson. He's a cute little dude. But it's, you know, I keep thinking of like how I want him to know me. He'll never know me as the partier or someone that's going out all the time, getting drunk. Like, he'll never see that version of me, because that's just not someone I want to be anymore. And it's not someone I'm going to be. But that's really where this is all kind of stemming from. It's just trying to be the example for him, for myself, and just keeping these promises to myself and kind of just staying on the correct path and just to keep evolving and keep growing, because I know that all areas of my life get better when I live this way. So I want to keep it up. I want to show him. Obviously, he's going to do whatever he wants and what aligns with his path, but I want to be an example. A lot of people just get comfortable in routine, in 9-to-5 jobs, in eating bad food and drinking alcohol, just things that are so normal these days. No one even kind of questions it. I want him to see like, oh, why does Uncle Vinny, wow, it's weird. Why does Uncle Vinny always eat healthy? Uncle Vinny doesn't drink beer. Like, why is that? Like, I want him to question these things. Like, why does Uncle Vinny go and run marathons? Why does Uncle Vinny go and do Ironmans? Like, what is this? What is that other side that like most people aren't doing or aren't trying? Or why does Uncle Vinny have a podcast? I mean, that's a really good fucking question, Grace, and no one knows. But like those kind of things are what I want to inspire in him. Of course, he has his own path. He has his own journey. But if I could spark a light in him to be different and do different, I mean, who knows what he could create? And I think that'd be a really, really cool, positive change to have. And it's so crucial because obviously it's a child. So you're going to have such a meaningful impact rather than you would on an adult. Not to say that you can't influence people in a positive way when they get older. You absolutely can. It's harder because people get stuck in these fixed mindsets and with these fixed ideas. And something else to piggyback kind of all of this is mood follows action. You won't always feel like making the change or doing the change or going to the gym or going for the run or eating the healthy food or picking up that book or just any of those little things that cause tension or like that extra mile. You won't always feel like doing it. But even today was a prime example. I ran 6 miles this morning. I did not want to go to the gym. I had light legs and a back day and just wasn't feeling it. And I got in the gym, started working out, and just, mood followed action. And I had a really, really good lift. But if I didn't just start pushing myself, like every day you're not going to feel like it. And anybody that says they do, it's bullshit. Nobody does, especially when you start getting into a very, very disciplined routine with working out, eating healthy. Like, it's easier to not do those things. It's easier to relax, easier to watch TV. It's Shark Week. It's easier just to sit on the couch and watch Shark Week. But, I hold myself to a higher standard. I know if I didn't get that lift in today, I'm traveling tomorrow, I might not get the lift in. I know I'll get my miles in tomorrow morning, but I probably won't have time for a lift and my miles. And I know how I feel after I do these things, and I know what I'm trying to build out of myself and out of my life, and the consistency and the small monotonous things add up and they matter. And they help me create the person that I'm aiming to be. So mood follows action. So sometimes you just gotta just get your body moving or start whatever it is. And most of the time your head will kind of follow, and you might not feel it and feel great doing it, but you'll feel way better after that workout or after that run or after you read X amount of pages in a book or after you eat a healthy meal instead of a bad meal. Or even, it might not even be in that moment that night, but tomorrow morning you wake up, if you have a goal to be a certain weight and you ate a healthy meal the night before and you step on that scale and you're a little lighter, you're going to feel better. Or if you see a difference in the mirror, because of course the scale, isn't the only picture. So it's just those little things. I just finished the book Winning by Tim Grover. He was the coach of, not the actual basketball coach, but the training coach, kind of mentally and physically, of Michael Jordan, Kobe, Charles Barkley, vast amount of superior athletes. And he's a big mindset guy. And the book is all about winning, obviously, and it's kind of a fleeting feeling. So you might win the morning, but something could happen at lunchtime and now you're having a bad day, and you're always chasing that. Or you might win the 2022 NBA World Championship, but now the season ended, so now you got to get back to work. And it's, you're not the championship for 2023. It hasn't happened yet. So winning is kind of fleeting. It's something that you got to continuously chase. And the more I was reading this book, it kind of aligned with a lot of the podcasts I've been doing. A lot of people are goal-driven, goal-oriented, and, speaking with these people, reflecting on my own life, I've kind of been sitting there like, I feel like I'm always chasing. I have a hard time stopping and smelling the roses and just appreciating the little things, the little wins, and, who I'm becoming along the way. Of course, I have moments where I do sit and reflect, but I feel like it's fleeting and it's quicker than the journey and the monotonous work and the consistency towards it. So it's so much easier to look ahead of, oh, my marathon's coming up, this is week 10, and just count down the weeks instead of being in the weeks. And something that's really, really been helping me with that is the birth of Grayson. So I've realized that, and I keep saying it to everybody, like, they'll ask how my sister's baby is, and I'll be like, I can't wait until he could talk. I can't wait until he could run. I can't wait until I can introduce him to some of the crazy shit physically that I do. And that's awesome, and that's great, and I am looking forward to it, but I have to appreciate where we are now, just obviously he's a very small child, so he can't do much, but just the little movements, or, he yawned the other day. It was funny. He sneezed the other day, just the little things. And I know how silly it sounds, but the little things are the big thing. So one day he is going to be 7 or 10 or 18 or 27, and I'm going to be like, wow, like, remember when he was a couple days old? Like, and I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I kind of just kept waiting until he hit 10, and then he hit 10 and we could, kind of start playing sports. And then it's like, well, I wanted to get more to a closer physical ability as me. So I can't wait till he turns 18. And it's just going to be waiting until that next thing instead of appreciating where we're at and where time is at. Because I feel like a lot of things, and I've talked about this before, is counting down. So something I'm kind of really putting an emphasis on, and I think he's helping a ton, is to focus on the now and focus on where we are and what's going on. Personally, I tend to look towards the next thing. I'm traveling tomorrow, a week out from Nashville, or 10 days out from this, or a couple weeks out from that, and it's just this constant countdown instead of living where your feet are and being in the moment and enjoying and being grateful for what's going on around you. Something else that really helps with this, so obviously Grayson is a big advocate for this right now and kind of sparking a lot of what I'm thinking about and reflecting on. But just being with friends, being with family, listening to podcasts, sitting down, reading a book. I know I went into depth about my morning routine, and that's something that holds true to keeping me grounded. It's probably 30, 40 minutes in the morning, but it's just that peace. It's the 30, 40 minutes without a phone, without notifications, without people yelling, without just a conversation with other people at all. It's really just time to be still and in the moment. And it just sets the whole tone for the day. I need those things. I need those things to slow down for me and for the people around me. Because when you are in chaos, in rush, you tend to overlook things or make mistakes and not be grateful. So at the other end of this, obviously we have Grayson, a couple days old at this point. I mean, almost a week old. Crazy. But, at the other end, we have my grandma's older. And just seeing her slow down drastically the last couple of years has really taken a toll, because my grandma was someone that always did for other people, always cooked, always cleaned. She would hit me with wooden spoons. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but she would. But we always joked around. We always had fun. She has a great personality. Just seeing her on a decline as Grayson is just born is kind of helping to really take into appreciation moments. Because, I don't know how many moments I'm going to have left with my grandmother. She's older. She's lived an incredible life. Anybody that knows me knows I have the weirdest but best relationship with my grandma. I'm smiling because the people that know that relationship are probably going to smile at this too. But that's what this is about. It's about the people you surround yourself with. It's about your family, and it's about being grateful and appreciating these moments and having these fond memories when the time does pass. But living where you are now and being in those moments is crucial. And it's something personally that I'm gonna try harder to work at, is just live where my feet are, be in the moment, enjoy the little things, stop and smell the roses, and kind of at the same time, I'm not gonna, this doesn't mean you put your goals to the side. I'm still gonna chase my goals, but I'm gonna live day to day. I'm gonna live hour to hour. I'm gonna live minute to minute. I don't want to count down time. And I think having a child and then my grandmother on either end of the spectrum is kind of helping me put that sense of time being precious at the forefront of my mind. And it's something I'm definitely going to focus on. So I guess this was me just venting, but I hope this served a purpose and could help somebody. Definitely a shorter episode, which I'm going to aim to do the solo ones shorter for sure. Like always, I appreciate the support. We've had some awesome guests. We've had some awesome feedback. And please comment, like, subscribe, and share. And see you next episode.